As you all know, I was following this when DJ Vlad first said it. You got the Breakfast Club on the one hand that brings up the subject of reparations. Then you got DJ Vlad calling himself gonna weigh in on what black folks should be getting as far as reparations. And he said that he's in favor of college tuition, maybe free tuition, but not cash payments. Not cash payments. He had an issue with that there, but maybe free tuition for you all. Maybe that will work out. Maybe that would work. But certainly not, cash payments. We don't need anything like that. Don't need nothing like that. So I was just the guy who said, okay, well, let's just take a look into that. Let's just take a look into that and let's see what people are talking about. So when I did, I'm sitting up here saying to myself, okay, let me follow what this is saying here. And enough people responded to what we said here. Enough people got upset. They lit into his ass. They contacted him. He didn't have to mention me by name. I don't need to be mentioned by name. The effect was loud and clear. Started running for the high cotton. Started wanting to get themselves out of trouble. Things got really, really rough for them. So then their tunes started changing. And then all of a sudden, it became about something else. All of a sudden, it became about, well, you just don't understand how things really are. Let me go ahead and start splaining. I didn't really mean it like that. No, you meant it exactly the way that you said it, but certainly go ahead and keep digging if you prefer to do so. Now, I thought it was a great idea. So in his attempt to rehabilitate his image, DJ Vlad has called himself going out and he's trying to explain away. And he did what these people usually do. He found a black person who was very agreeable to him to bounce off of, so that to sit there and amen what he had to say. And I'm like, to Trey D, brother, don't let folks sit up here and walk you off into things. Don't let people sit up here and walk you off into stuff like this. Don't let them go off and do this. Don't let them go off and do this. You're letting people sit up here and walk you off into what they want to discuss or what they want to talk about. And that's not what you need to do here. He's sitting up here allowing you to be his human shield. He's allowing you to be his human shield. And for what? He's saying something that's not in our interest, that's totally off code, and you need to be the human shield. And this is one of the other things I don't like about a lot of folk in the rap industry and whatnot. A lot of these people are sitting up here and they won't talk to the black media, but then they'll sit up here and go talk to Vlad and then have little crazy stuff like this said. That's the problem that I have with what I'm seeing. You'll talk to him and then sit up here and let him say little crazy stuff like this, and then y'all are you're even if you're not necessarily directly defending it, you are not fighting it vigorously, because he goes and finds some folks whose careers are not as popping as they used to be. I'm not being disrespectful. Their careers are not popping as much as they used to be. And then all of a sudden it becomes about, okay, well, let's just see if we can talk about this a little bit differently. For those of you who didn't see it, this was Vlad's tweet. I wanted to go ahead and make sure I had documentation of this. This is Vlad's tweet. I fully support reparations. Possibly in the full, possibly in the form of free college education. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play for you some of the audio from this interview, and you can see the title of it at the bottom of your screen there. Vlad tells Trey D he hopes every ADOS gets $1 million cash plus 100 acres. So I'm going to go ahead and start playing the audio here so you can hear it for yourselves, some of what he was saying. Everybody's going to have to stand by their statements here, just plain and simple.
ADOS, ADOS,
Hey,
African descendants of slavery. Descendant, it's called, I was introduced to a group called ADOS, ADOS,
Hey,
African descendants of slavery.
Righteous.
And, the guy who even started the group started going back and forth with me and everything else like that.
Really?
Yeah. It turned into a whole, literally thousands of tweets. Like, it turned into a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, listen, I think it would be great if every, black person in America who could trace their lineage back to slavery got $1 million and 100 acres. I think that'd be great. I just don't think it's realistic, because 80% of non-black people in America are against cash reparations. 80%.
Mm-hmm.
Like the country
And
as a
that's
whole.
why.
Okay, first of all, let's deal with that crap. Professor Black Truth did a very good video dealing with that issue. First of all, it's closer to 75%, not 80%. But remember, it used to be 0%. Now, if we were discussing gay marriage, would DJ Vlad be sitting up here talking about, 80% of the country is against gay marriage, so that's the reason that we shouldn't have no gay... I'm sorry, I'm not doing that well. 80% of the country, they're against gay marriage. So, if 80% of the country is against gay marriage, hey, I don't see how we do gay marriage if 80% of the country is against it there, So the rationales that he gives us, if he were talking about gays, Jews, or anybody else, would he be using that rationale? Would he be giving you the statement and ad populum argument that if the majority of the country is against justice, then there should be no justice? Tell me where he's ever done that before. So first and foremost, if we were talking about gays, would he have said something like that? 80% of the country is against gay marriage. So that it's really just a dead issue when you think about it there. Will we be hearing this mess?
Great. I just don't think it's realistic, because 80% of non-black people in America are against cash reparations. 80%. Like the country
And
as a
that's
whole.
why. That's why I'm telling you, they'll highlight Jay-Z and Oprah and whatever actress.
Y'all don't need it
is at
anymore.
the time.
You're fine.
Yeah, exactly. Ask Jay-Z for it. He got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Damn, ain't y'all
richer
hip
than
hop?
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all cool,
I feel you. And my whole thing was, number one, it was I said possibly just a suggestion is, listen, over the course of your lifetime, you will make $1 million more in salary with a college education as opposed to a high school education, on average.
So it wasn't something that you just threw out there as an idea.
I researched it. It's basically $1 million payment over time, over the course of your life, as well as allowing all these people who would not have gone to college because they don't want to pay for it and they don't want to have the loans.
All right. So this is DJ Vlad. Now, did you all hear what he said? Well, basically, it's $1 million payment over the course of your life. Let me go ahead and replay that part one more time. These little devious bastards think they're slick.
On average. Over the course of your lifetime, you will make $1 million more in salary with a college education as opposed to a high school education, on average.
So it wasn't something that you just threw out there as an idea.
I researched it. It's basically $1 million payment over time, over the course of your life, as well as...
Okay, first of all, let's deal with the flaws in logic. Brothers and sisters, could you imagine if you had an auto accident? Somebody rear-ended you. You had back injury. You were out of work for 5 years. During that 5 years, you lost your house, you lost your job, you had to learn to walk again. And the insurance company told you, we will pay you $1 million as long as you go back to work. We're not going to cut you a check for $1 million. We're going to settle with you for $1 million as long as you go to work and earn it every hour. That's not a settlement. That's not reparations. Do you all hear this damn Jedi mind trick mental manipulation he's trying to pull? He literally just sat here and talked to us like we're damn slap crazy. We're talking about money that we are owed, and he's saying, well, you can get it if you work for it. Yeah, you can get reparations if you work for it. We already work for it. And he's telling us the solution for us is you need to work harder. Oh yeah, and you won't get it now. You will get it $15,000 a year over the course of the next 40 or 50 years if you live long enough to get the whole thing. This is a devious little bastard. If he researched that, then he would realize what he's saying is a damn lie, and it's just a way to attempt to avoid giving us what we're due. How many of you are going to live long enough to make $1 million in extra income? Oh yeah, by the way, you have to work for it. That is not reparations. If you have to work for it, by definition, it is not reparations. Do I have to explain that to you? If you're working for it, that's not reparations, that's compensation for your labor. My labor has nothing to do with what you owe my family. And Vlad's saying, well, if we give you a pay raise, if you go to college and become more valuable to the system, so we're going to become more valuable to the system and pay into the system. And you can get this low-life bastards telling us that going to college and getting a pay raise is your reparations. Now, Trey D just sat here and said, well, they pointing to Oprah and Jay-Z and saying that's proof you don't need reparations. What the hell kind of fool we look like with somebody telling us, well, you can get reparations if you go to college and then go to work and work twice as hard. Why, that's the same as reparations, ain't it? I mean, you'll get it over the course of 50 years. That's the same as reparations, though. People, this is really how silly he's talking to people. Vlad's not saying that because he wants a solution. He's saying that because he really does think that black folk are that dumb. And unfortunately, if you keep listening to the guy he's talking to, if you keep listening to Trey D, unfortunately, it seems like there's some folks who are going for it.
College education as opposed to high school education. On average.
So it wasn't something that you just threw out there as an idea.
I researched it. You know, it's basically $1 million payment over time, over the course of your life, as well as allowing all these people who would not have gone to college because they don't want to pay for it and they don't want to have the loans to go for free and to finish. You know, and to start their career with zero debt as opposed to $100,000 or $150,000 with the debt. Yeah. You know, $100,000 per person, you're talking about 15% of the population, we're talking about trillions of dollars.
Okay, first of all, it doesn't cost $100,000 to go to college unless you're going to be a lawyer, a physicist, or get a PhD. It doesn't cost $100,000 to get a bachelor's or a master's. It does not cost $100,000. Second of all, brothers and sisters, Do you all really think that we are $50,000 away from being free? This is so easy to knock down at every point, but let me take you step by step. Brothers and sisters, do you realize that this carpetbagging, sycophantic, interloping lowlife DJ Vlad just sat up here and said that every black person is $50,000 away from being free? That if we just spot you $50,000, that will reverse 500 years of discrimination, 150 years of segregation and Jim Crow and oppression. That $50,000 for college will reverse all that. Tell that to all the black college grads today who got $50,000 in student loan debt. You tell me that them going to college corrected the sins of slavery. Tell Botham Jean with his college degree for that hedge fund, that financial firm that he worked for. You tell me that $50,000 was able to overcome the evils of slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, discrimination, and white supremacy. You tell me $50,000 got him free. Show me. I got a bunch of college grads in my damn chat room and listen to me live or recorded. For those of you listening live or recorded, you tell me, even if we did wipe out your student loan debt, would that be the panacea? Would that be the magic bullet? Would that be the magic wand that would set you free? If we just get rid of college loans, that's the secret ingredient that we've really been waiting for all this time? Because, of course, when you're going out into the workforce, you're getting full credit for your college degree, right? So what we were really lacking, the real thing we were missing, was getting that student loan debt off of you. Because going to college is the key to freedom for black people as a group. Not as individuals, but as a group. As a group. That America is waiting with open arms to welcome all of these black college graduates with their degrees. You know, like they're welcoming us today. I'm going to back that up so you can hear him say it one more time here and see how crazy it is.
I researched it.
ID.
I researched it. You know, it's basically $1 million payment over time, over the course of your life. As well as allowing all these people who would not have gone to college because they don't want to pay for it and they don't want to have the loans to go for free and to finish, you know, and to start their career with zero debt as opposed to $100,000 or $150,000 worth of debt.
Yeah.
You know, $100,000 per person. You're talking about 15% of the population. We're talking about trillions of dollars.
True.
And it's one of those things where all you're doing is improving the workforce of the country.
Right.
You're having more educated people, you know, and people who might get a degree in business because they know they'll have to pay back a loan might go and do something for their own communities with their degree. Because they know there's no loan at the end of the day, so they could more pursue their passions. I felt it was a win-win. Do I feel like this is the only thing that needs to happen? No, I don't. But it was what I felt could be a basis of this, and it's already happening, like in Georgetown University, who actually, you know, that school was part of the slave trade at one point. Gotcha. You know, they bought and sold slaves at a certain point in their history. They went and actually are offering free tuition to the descendants of those slaves. So it's already this whole
free tuition. As if colleges aren't set up for the purposes of letting through some and not others. There is no there's a prison industrial complex that is set up for the purposes of grabbing black folk. You get preferential treatment in the prison industrial complex. Preferential treatment defined as you get ease of access. You get ease of access into the prison industrial complex. You get ease of access there. You don't get ease of access anywhere else. Brothers and sisters, this is literally what the hell he was saying. Now, Vlad is telling you that he's researched this and he understands what in the world is going on with that. He said he's researched it. Kind of makes you wonder what in the hell he was researching. It makes you wonder what the hell he was researching, because anybody could have gone to Google and sat up here and pulled this up. Anybody could have done this. Anybody could have done this. Someone tell me, how do you extract $1 million worth of value out of these circumstances? Will someone explain to me what American economic system is Vlad referring to? Take this article on your screen right here is one among many. They come out with a new one every 6 months explaining that black college graduates are going out into an American economic system that does not respect your degree. And Vlad is telling all of us that if we just get the college debt off of you, then it's just gonna rain. It's just gonna rain. Brothers and sisters, I'm sitting here showing you the proof. He's talking about some fictitious $1 million. He's talking about white people. He's not talking about black people. And furthermore, it's unscrupulous of you bastard, to even say that you want us to work for our reparations. First of all, you owe us more than $1 million. Second of all, he's talking about working for your reparations. And third of all, the pathway he's giving you to work for your reparations, this is precisely what he's suggesting is precisely the reason that we need reparations. What Vlad is suggesting is a failure, and it's precisely the fact that it doesn't work. That's the reason that we're saying we need reparations, because as a group, the college route ain't working for us. If the college route was working for us, it'd be a different conversation. It is precisely because the college route has failed that we're saying, no, y'all keep throwing every damn thing else. You keep throwing college, you keep throwing politics, you keep throwing work harder, you keep throwing get another job, you keep throwing the media, you keep throwing everything at this problem except financial compensation. If college was working, you would never have headlines like this. You'd never have studies like this. There isn't $1 million of lifetime earnings for every black college graduate. It isn't there. It's not there. And that's why he's saying it, because it isn't there. And he's not stupid. He knows it. He's not dumb. He knows it.
College tuition.
You have to do the 23andMe or the what's that? Oh yeah, you in here for a gang related crime.
Their data with the FBI. So actually, like one of the companies said they actually share their data with the FBI.
So Vlad is talking about these genealogy companies that take your DNA and tell you where your lineage comes from. He's talking about the fact that it was found out that some of these companies are sharing that DNA information with the FBI and giving the FBI the ability to go ahead and do investigations and go arrest people. Kind of interesting that Vlad would be the one to bring up, by the way, talking to the law enforcement, dealing with these people is dealing with law enforcement. I just find it ironic for him, of all people, to be bringing up that subject. Rather ironic, isn't it, DJ Vlad?
So
that's slick. That's slick, and that's good to know. But I wouldn't go on that shit anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? 'Cause, I may, if it was something at the end of the rainbow, but just to know who I'm connected to and who this was and that was. Yeah.
It's one of those things where I didn't mind that I was getting attacked. I mean, I gave my opinion. I feel as part of the conversation.
You're supposed to stand on what you say.
Yeah, and I stand behind it. But I could tell you that I did a follow-up. I did a poll where I said, and I didn't even tie this into the whole reparations thing, but obviously it was. I said, if you had a choice between a free college tuition worth $100,000 or $25,000 up front, which one would you take? And there was over 1,000 votes. 2/3 of the people said $25,000 up front.
Yeah. I'm currently
You know what? I was going to stop it there, but let me go ahead and let it keep going so you can all hear after Vlad gave this mathematical formula or this mathematical poll, listen to how Trey D responded.
I mean, you know, I gave my opinion. I feel it's part of the conversation.
You're supposed to stand on what you say.
Yeah, and I stand behind it. But like, I could tell you that I did a follow-up. I did a poll where I said, you know, and I didn't even tie this into the whole reparations thing, but obviously it was. I said, if you had a choice between a free college tuition worth $100,000 or $25,000 up front, which one would you take? And there was over 1,000 votes. 2/3 of the people said $25,000 up front.
Yeah, I'm currently reading The Gift from my daughter for my birthday. She gave it to me for my birthday.
Okay.
The Contagious by Jonah Berger. It was one of the books that Nipsey was reading or had read, and she gave it to me for my birthday. She bought it for me for my birthday, and I'm like about 40, 50 more pages left, and it's about what makes things go viral. And you know, and he did all these studies, and I believe he went to Harvard or one of these Ivy League schools. And one of the last things I read is so funny is that if you tell somebody, I'm going to give you 15% off of a certain item and the item costs a certain amount, or if they tell you, I'm going to give you $25 or $30 off of this, depending on the value of the item, either the percentage would be more attractive or the actual dollar amount would be more attractive. And in this case, in your study, it seems like the people like, well, you know, I'm not guaranteed to do nothing with the college education. I'm not guaranteed to, you know, to even graduate or pass, you know, everything that I'm going to face to get that. So guess what? Give me the 25 now. I'll take that and parlay that into what I want to.
Right.
Now, Trey D was actually talking sensibly there, but brothers and sisters, once again, do you see the refutation of logic that Vlad is trying to pass off? I gave people a poll question. Would you rather have $100,000 worth of education or $25,000 cash? First of all, you can charge somebody $100,000 for a degree. That doesn't mean that the degree is worth $100,000. That's the problem. Do you all understand that? It's the Nike shoe fallacy. Just because someone charges you $100,000 for a degree does not mean that the degree is worth $100,000. So Vlad is playing semantics. He's trying to play a psychological word game by saying that this hypothetical degree is worth $100,000. My next question is, tell me, where do I go to validate what you just said? Where can I go and tell them I have this degree? Will you give me $100,000 in exchange for this degree? Because if I can do that, then what you said is valid. But Vlad can't tell you where you can go in order to redeem your degree for $100,000. His school is going to get $100,000, but that's what they're charging you. But that doesn't mean that the degree is worth $100,000. So what he's really saying is, would you rather pay $100,000 for a degree and hope that you can redeem the education that you supposedly got with the degree later down the line for an unspecified amount of money? That's the key part. Will you be able to do that, or can you redeem the degree at some undetermined point in the future for an unspecified amount of money? Would you like a degree that I will charge you $100,000 for today? I'll charge you $100,000 today, and you take my word for it that this degree will be, with your hard work and effort, may be worth more than $100,000 at some undetermined point in the future? Or would you rather me give you $25,000 of my money? When you unravel this word game he's playing, you realize, hey, he's running game. Do you know why, brothers and sisters? Do you know why? Let me explain to you why. It is one word: intangibles. Vlad is trying to run psychological games. Black folks said we want tangibles, and Vlad's first option was to try to change the subject to intangibles. We said we want tangibles, and the first thing he came out with was, well, why don't we change the subject from tangibles and discuss intangibles? There is an imaginary windfall of increased wages you can get in the future with this degree that we want to charge you $100,000 for. Now, you can't get the future money today. You can be on the hook for it, but you can't get it today. Your future earnings are intangible. But we want to charge you tangible money today. Okay, we'll bypass charging you the tangible money today. We'll give you a tangible degree, which is good to redeem uncertain, intangible future earnings. Would you rather have intangible future earnings or a tangible $25,000? That was what tripped Trey D up. Trey D got tripped up by that. Trey D's reading a book that's talking about trading tangibles for tangibles or intangibles for intangibles. Vlad is saying, I want to give you a choice between a tangible that you are owed versus an intangible that you may or may not be able to redeem in the future. And what he didn't want to accept is that black folk ain't gonna sit back and let you run game on us. Your forefathers did not get intangibles from us. They didn't get an IOU. They didn't get a promise to pay. They got tangibles. Right then, right now, they got tangibles. It's only when we show up saying, right here, right now, we want tangibles, that all of a sudden everybody wants to change the damn subject back to intangibles again. So there's where the real damn rub of it comes in. The real damn rub for it comes in. Now, isn't that interesting? The mag, if you're right about that, if Vlad says that he has a degree in computer engineering, I find that to be the MiG 44563. I don't know if Vlad has a degree in engineering or not, but if he does, it's very interesting because he doesn't work in computer engineering today. So if Vlad has a degree in computer engineering, was he able to redeem his own degree for $1 million of lifetime earnings? while he's offering that to black people as a substitute for reparations. By the way, Vlad, if you have a degree in computer science or computer engineering, were you able to redeem your degree for $1 million of lifetime earnings? Because what you do today has absolutely not a damn thing to do with computer engineering. Not a damn thing. Not a thing. So Vlad, who wasn't able to redeem his degree for $1 million of lifetime earnings, is now sitting up here telling everyone else, telling black folks the solution for us is to do exactly what did not work for him, and he's a white man. Let me say that again. He's advising black people that the strategy for us should be to do exactly what failed for him, and he's a white man. He's a white man telling us to do something that didn't even work for him. Don't you know we recognize when you running game, fella? Don't you recognize when you're running game? Don't you recognize that we know when you trying to run game? We recognize when you are trying to run game. Everybody is not like Trey D, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Trey D. I'm not. I am not trying to be disrespectful to Trey D. But if I am to keep it all the way real, everybody's not a former rapper trying to get back on again. Everybody's not a former rapper trying to get back on. Brothers and sisters, I had some of these black rappers trying to talk to me about wanting to charge me to do an interview with them, talking about how valuable their time is. Jason, like who? Like West Coast Cam? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I saying too much? And when I asked, I said, you know what? Okay, how much you want to charge? And he told me, and I'm like, okay, woo. I got that. I got one question for you, though. How much did you charge DJ Vlad for the interview that he did with you? How much did you charge him? I want to know how much he paid you, and I'll pay you the same thing. Because Vlad has said that he does not pay for interviews. Well, that's the way journalism works. You don't pay for interviews. When I asked him, how much did you pay Vlad? All of a sudden it was, well, Vlad's a friend of mine and, you know, we go way back, so I didn't really have to do that. So let me get this straight. The white man who can pay the damn most told you I don't pay for interviews, and you respected that as a journalist, and black folk come to you and you don't respect us as journalists. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to say no names. Okay, I did. But I did. And he's not the only one. Everybody you see talk to DJ Vlad. Everybody is doing it, and they're not getting paid for it, because that's not how journalism works. But when they talk to us, all of a sudden they want to get paid for it, in the hopes that they can get their careers back on track again. No, I'm not gonna pull no damn punches. If you're gonna do that mess, be consistent. I don't have a problem if you want to charge people for an interview, but don't you drag your ass in front of that white man and do an interview for free, and then you show up in front of me talking about I gotta pay you. And then you're gonna try to speak on reparations or black people or anything else? I can't hear what you got to say unless you're consistent. No, Cam is just the one I'm naming. There were others, Eddie Griffith, Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say another name? Shout out to Eddie Griffith. Eddie Griffith wanted $10,000. Shout out to Eddie Griffith. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I saying too much? I told y'all after Race War was done, I was gonna let y'all know there were a few people that I wanted to say a few things about. Shout out Eddie Griffith. No, I did not pay you $10,000, sir, because Vlad didn't pay you $10,000. When Vlad pays you $10,000, come back and holler at me. I might still not pay you, but at least I would respect you, because you sat in front of a white man who don't pay you a damn thing. So when you see these folks sit up here and jump in front of these people and start talking and whatnot, just understand they got a reason for that. They got a reason for that. So ain't none of them taking them to task. None of them are speaking up for us. Don't think that they're there representing anything, and don't think they're concerned about a black media. That's not what they about. So if they're talking to Vlad, there's a reason for doing so. There's a reason these people are doing that. There's a reason for it. So after a little bit, I was just like, you know what? Okay, we got to do something different. I got to do something different. I got to do something different. No, you, as a matter of fact, and by the way, if you all doubt what I'm saying, ask them yourselves. You don't even have to ask them for an interview yourselves. They're going to tell you the same thing. They're going to tell you the same thing. I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up. And I don't have a problem. You can charge for anything you want to, but don't expect me to respect you when I know that you didn't charge this white man, but you talking about charging me. Don't expect to get my respect when I know you get down. Don't expect me to sit up here and cover for you when I know you get down. These folks are up here talking to this white supremacist agent for free, but when they get in front of black folk, I'm telling y'all, you all don't know how big and how large and how wide the Coon Plantation really is. You don't know how big and how wide it really is. These folks are fighting to get him to interview them, and then no wonder the responses that they give sound the way they do. If it's somebody who he ain't had a falling out with, I can't say nothing for him. I can't say nothing for him. I can't say nothing for him. It's only been a few people who've been willing to take him to task like that, and they ain't able to go back. But then again, they weren't concerned about going back. They had a different agenda. Shout out Tariq, Charlemagne, Joe Budden. The folk he don't like are the people who don't have to go back, but you notice those are the ones they had to run in with. No, maybe should I take my foot off his neck now? Should I take my foot off his neck now? Hey, you can't buy me, dude. You didn't build me. You can't run me. You didn't build me. You can't run me. So no wonder you're not getting proper representation. No wonder in these media outlets black folk are not getting proper representation. Because we don't have anybody who's going really for the purposes of speaking for us. They're going for the purposes of seeing if they can get in his good graces so that they can be invited back on. And hopefully, if they're on enough times, it can get them on some reunion rap tour or some 90s throwback old school rap tour and get them on that. Well, I'm not trying to sell an album. So I guess my perspective is different because I'm not trying to sell anything. Let me make this very clear. DJ Vlad, Tim Wise, any other white, non-black person, any other non-descendant of American slaves, the only thing that you can do on the subject of reparations is shut the hell up and co-sign what the descendants of the slaves say. That's the only thing you can do for us. The only thing that any of you can do for us is to shut the hell up and co-sign. That's all you can do. You can't do anything else. You can't open your mouth to do anything else but co-sign whatever we're saying. And if you're not going to co-sign, fall the hell back and shut the hell up. Because every time y'all open your mouths, you try to sabotage what we're doing. You try to dismantle what we're doing. Every time you open your mouths, you've got nothing to say. If you're not co-signing us, you have nothing to say. If your mouth opens, the only useful thing it can do is co-sign us. That's it. You don't have an opinion. Trey D, DJ Vlad don't have an opinion. He's got interference and disturbance. That's not an opinion. I guess I can speak the truth because I ain't trying to get a record deal. He doesn't have an opinion, people. He doesn't have an opinion. He's got nothing to offer. There is no opinion that you can give us. You don't have standing to speak on this subject unless it is to co-sign whatever we have to say. You don't have standing to speak. You have no standing to speak on this. Well, I have an opinion. You know, it's very interesting here. When black folk have an opinion on Israel, shout out Mark Lamont Hill. Shout out Mark Lamont Hill. When black folk try to weigh in on some of Vlad's people, all of a sudden, they don't want to hear nothing. We don't have an opinion. When it comes to the state of Israel as black people, when it comes to Jewish issues as black people, all we can do is co-sign or get the hell out the room. That's all we can do. We don't have an opinion. When you're black, you don't get to have one. When it comes to white gays, black people aren't allowed to have an opinion. Shout out Dave Chappelle. Shout out Dave Chappelle. Shout out Lil Duval. Amazing. When other people want to speak on their issues, we're not allowed to have an opinion. When it comes to the state of Israel, when it comes to white gays, when it comes to feminists, we're not allowed to weigh in. We don't get to say, okay, well, I got an opinion. I had some thoughts on that. You know, it's just my opinion. You can't say I ain't got the right to an opinion. Dave Chappelle didn't give an opinion. He gave facts. And look at the hell he caught. Don't try to sit up here and tell me that you got the right to speak on this. You got nothing to say. The only thing you can do is co-sign. When black people speak on Jewish issues, gay issues, whatever, everybody makes it very, very clear that the only thing that we can do is co-sign what the hell they saying, and that's it. All we can do is co-sign. They don't want to hear a damn thing outside of that. You have no thoughts, you have no opinions, you have no say-so, you don't got no freedom of speech, you've got nothing. You've got nothing. You damn right I don't want to hear a damn thing you have to say. You've got nothing to say on this subject. Nothing. Unless you are co-signing. You know, there's this group, and it's not a group, damn it. Being a descendant of slaves is not a group. Being a descendant of slaves is not an organization. Being a descendant of slaves is a status. It's a status. There is this ADOS movement, and this ADOS movement, man, you know, I mean, I agree with something that they had to say there. No, you've got nothing to say. As black people, we need to draw the damn line. We need to draw the damn line. No, you don't have freedom of speech when it comes to our liberation. No, brothers and sisters, no. Let me explain this to you very clearly for some of you out there who may be having a conflict about this. Let me put this to you plain and simply in one sentence. Our liberation is not an opinion. Do you understand that? Our liberation is not up for debate. It's not up for discussion. It's not up for negotiation. It's not up for horse trading. It's not up for shuttle diplomacy. And it's damn sure not an opinion. Our liberation is a matter of fact. It's not something that we get to opine over, and there are different ways of looking at it. And I mean, if you look at it from the left, it might go this way in. If you look at it from the right, it might go that way then. You know, I mean, you got the right to say, no, you don't have the right to say this. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have the right to say that my people are okay where they're at, and you don't have the right to try to pull mind games and hand my people intangibles and claim that you're actually offering us something. No, you don't have the right to offer up that opinion. Vlad, if you were standing in a room full of Jews, you would never be telling them that, you know what, Germany doesn't owe you cash reparations. Germany should have given you free education. That's what Germany should have done. Because giving Jews reparations was very unpopular in Germany. Why? 90% of the Germans were against giving Jews reparations. Therefore, we should just give you free college tuition. When everybody else got reparations, it didn't go up for a vote. It was determined that this was the right thing to do, that this was justice, and that it needed to be done because it was the right thing and it was justice. All of a sudden, when it's black folk, everything is up for a damn debate, a discussion. We need committees, we need commissions, we need a vote. We took a poll, we took a survey. People don't like it. But for everybody else, it don't matter whether you like it or not. You're getting gay marriage. Whether you like it or not, you're getting transsexuals having Bible study time with your kids. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have gay studies. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have an Indian casino. Whether you like it or not, you're going to give money and $16 billion a year in foreign aid to Israel. Whether you like it or not. Okay, well, as black people, we ready to hop on that whether you like it or not train. We trying to get on that one. We trying to get on the whether you like it or not train. Everybody else got theirs, whether you like it or not. Well, damn it, we here to get ours, whether you like it or not. You're gonna set these race soldiers free, whether we like it or not. George Zimmerman walks the streets, whether you like it or not. We're going to pass laws to protect the police and white supremacist DAs, whether you like it or not. Blue Lives Matter, whether you like it or not. You see, Black Lives Matter is just activists in the street, even though they may be unreliable. But the Blue Lives Matter, that's not activists in the street. Why? That's a law. That's a law that you are compelled to comply with, whether you like it or not. Black Lives Matter is an opinion. Blue Lives Matter is an inarguable, undebatable, indisputable fact. You don't get to argue about that one. You just gotta take it. But we ain't gonna have a discussion about whether or not blue lives matter. We're gonna pass this into law, and you will be obligated to acknowledge it and adhere to it. Don't matter if you agree or if you don't. Whether you agree or whether you don't is immaterial. You gon' do it. Whether you like it or not. Well, you know what? Black Lives Matter is no longer an opinion. You're gonna adhere to that whether you like it or whether you don't. We're not discussing if you like it or not. We are simply informing you of what you will be doing. Whether you agree or not is immaterial. And brothers and sisters, that is the way in which power works. That's the way in which power works. Power don't take a poll. Power doesn't do a survey. Power is not a popularity contest. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Power is not a popularity contest. Vlad is trying to play upon that old thing about, well, if we tell black folk what's popular, then black people are going to look to go where what's popular. We're not interested in being your damn buddy, your friend, and don't care about being popular. Liberation is not a popularity contest. I'm going to say something that's going to upset a lot of people. Botham Jean is the most popular black man in the cemetery in Dallas, Texas. I'm sorry, was I not supposed to say that? Okay. I might have upset some people by saying that. All right. I might have upset some people by saying, did I go a little too far right then? Did I go too far? Did I go too far in our pursuit to make non-black people and white supremacists happy with us? You know, nobody had a negative word to say about Botham Jean. Nobody had a negative word to say. Botham Jean was loved by everybody, including the white supremacist female who murdered him. Even the white supremacist female who murdered him was talking about how great of a person he was, as she sat there and allowed him to die. You can go straight to hell trying to convince me that this is a popularity contest. I see what you do to the most popular black people. I see what you did to Muhammad Ali. He was popular. I see what you did to Dr. King, and he was popular. I see what you did to Botham Jean, and he was popular. I see how you treat popular black folks. I see how you treat them when they become popular. I'm good. I'm good on that. I'm good on that. I'll sit over here and be powerful and non-popular. How about that one? You let me sit over here and I'll be popular. I'll be unpopular and powerful. And you can keep your power, you can keep your powerless popularity. Let me be unpopular, but without the ability for you to harm me. I'll take that one for 500, Alex. I want everybody here tonight to divorce themselves of that idea. I want everyone here tonight to divorce themselves of the idea that we have to make people happy with us. I want you to divorce yourselves from anybody who attempts to play a word game where they try to swap out tangible reparations for these intangibles and trying to convince you that these intangibles are in fact tangibles. Also, one more thing, and I didn't get to cover this a few weeks ago. The most deadly, dangerous of all betrayals that black people have been fed is the idea that justice for us, that the answer is never, we didn't tell you no, but we didn't tell you yes. No, the answer for justice must always be yes. And they've been trying to get us to accept, well, we didn't tell you yes, but we told you the most dangerous word next to no. Wait. When it comes time for us to get ours, everybody tells us you can't get it now. You gotta wait. Why don't we get you a college degree and you can wait 40 or 50 years to get yours? You need to wait. Everything for us is you need to wait. Dr. King spoke about that. Justice delayed is justice denied. And they're still sticking to their guns and trying to figure out how can we get you to accept waiting. Can you hold back? If you just wait a little while longer, you know we can pay you back over the course of 40 or 50 years. Of course, you'll be paying yourself back. If we give you a degree, and assuming that it don't blow up in your face, you can pay yourself back over the course of 50 years. We won't pay you reparations, but if you get a degree, you can pay yourself back. Brothers and sisters, it is time to be unpopular. It is time to be determined. It is time for us to make sure that people don't like us. It is time for us to be selfish, in the words of our immortal elder, Dr. John Henry Clark. It is time for us to look out for ourselves. It is time for us to say no more waiting. The time is now. It is time for us to sit up and be uncompromising. It is time for us to say there will be no substitutes. And if you all want to know why I say you can't listen to these rappers and don't let them lead you there, tonight's broadcast has been Exhibit A. Except no substitutes. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We've got over 82,000 subscribers and rising. This is not a little thing. We are the black media. There's a reason why newscasters, pundits, and presidential candidates are fighting and adhering to what we say, or it's giving them fits and keeping them up at night. If you want to be ahead of the curve, if you want to know what's going to happen before it happens, if you want to be beyond the bleeding edge, the way you do that is to click that red subscribe button, become a subscriber, and then after that, to double down on it, click the notification bell so that you can stay up to date and be notified whenever we are broadcasting. This is the Black Media, it broadcasts in your interests. We are correct when everyone else isn't. Be ahead of the curve, be a subscriber, get your notifications. And to get even further ahead, you want to check out our documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified Ethnic Cleansing American Style, and our newest documentary, Race War, now available on sale on Amazon and available on streaming. You can see the link to that in the description of this video. Go ahead and check that out. blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the BlackChannel.net radio program. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.